Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays about as you get your wow, you get the idea. We lost an episode recently, excuse me. I vaguely remember that. This is like, to pull back the veil, this is an episode I'm recording right after getting back from being away for like 8 days. So I'm a little rusty. I'm also petting my furry friend here, and I'm not talking about my genitals. That would be gross. Hello, Tomo. Please welcome to the show, Tomo, everybody. Woo! He's done it. You got anything you want to promote on today's show, Tomo? I hear that new movie, The Fate of the Furries, is coming out. What was it like to work with Ludacris? He's scratching the door trying to escape. That bad, huh? I mean, Ciara had no complaints after she collaborated on the most underrated song of 2005. Oh, but sure. Okay, so we're on an Eden run here. YZYT FPHK. Good speed. Good tiers. Okay damage. Blood Rights. Actually probably a decent item once we figure out if we have any HP to spare. For now, I'm not going to use it. We can survive, like, at least a couple of floors on a little bit of HP. Long enough to burn off this curse, I'm assuming, at least. Unless, like, the unthinkable happens. So, this should be fine. But yeah, I expect... people look forward to these episodes, so this is why I'm earmarking it in such a way as well. But, expect that commentary might be a little weird. Little jet-lagged. People have been roasting me on Twitter, by the way. They go, NL, for a guy who travels so much, you sure get jet lag a lot. I've been back home for 24 hours, and the time difference is 14 hours. I see you fuckers tweeting, oh, summer vacation's over, I gotta reset my sleep schedule. It's nothing. There's nothing compared to this. I'm not saying this is like, you know, when Granddad was flying a Spitfire in the Battle of Britain in the Second World War or something. I'm just saying, you know, there's some science behind it. It takes a little while for your body to adjust. You know, I've been waking up like 11 hours offset from what I normally do for like a week. So we're gonna do it, okay? We're gonna get back to the place where we really wanna go, and we'll walk in the sun. That's just my way of checking to see if maybe somehow, like, being away had magically given me the ability to sing. It has not, apparently. Let's see what we got going on in here. Oh, it's a little Larry Jr., huh? Oh, he's done it, and by it he means played pretty badly, but that's alright, that's alright. Took a little damage, and then we drink a little water. It's not that bad, though. Like, if you've never had jet lag, I feel like we as a human race, or at least, like, contemporaneously. How does this work? Took a whole spirit heart. Okay, don't do that again, but good to learn, maybe. We complain too much. And I'm not trying to say, you know, there aren't real problems in the world. I'm just trying to say, like, we complain too much. When you ever ask somebody about jet lag, the most common response I feel is like, oh yeah, you know, I went from Central Time Zone to Mountain Time Zone, and the jet lag is so bad. How bad is it? No, the jet lag is so bad. I'm used to waking up at 6, but then I was waking up at 5. It's so weird. You know, we should stop doing that. By the way, the mulligan's great. Oh, I didn't realize we actually have a Tinted Rock in that room. Once we get some bombs. So, if you never had jet lag, it's not really that bad. Like, there are worse things. I've been relatively blessed when it comes to, you know, health concerns in my life. I've had, testicular surgery for a benign reason. You know, I didn't have testicular cancer. Not that there's anything to be ashamed of. I'm trying to avoid playing it up as if it's overly dramatic. Didn't have a hernia or anything. It was just, you know, had to be done. They said I've never seen a man with balls that big. And then the government forced me to get them surgically shrunk so that I didn't intimidate the other men in the populace and cause the birth rate to tank for everybody, but rise amazingly for me. And I did have, oh, fudge. Not great, not great. I did have Norwalk once, which is like an infectious disease that is non-lethal unless you're like pretty old or otherwise immunocompromised. But it was a hellish few days, I'll give it that. But apart from that, like, I've lived a relatively blessed life from a health standpoint. I'm lucky to be in relatively good health, and the older I get, the more I realize that that is something that is not necessarily guaranteed, so I don't take it for granted. But I say that merely as context, you know. Despite my life being pretty easy from that kind of area, jet lag is also not that bad. It's like, you know, your brain is slightly confused. You think it's like 1 p.m., but it's actually like 8 p.m., okay? Like, it's, get a little insomnia, a little mild feeling of nausea. I wouldn't dispute that. The nausea for me is the worst. It's just like a general sort of malaise that falls over you. Definitely take that. We did get another bomb out of it as well, so let's go back and get that tinted rock. But, apart from that, it's largely just, you know, you just ride it out and get over it, you know, it's the cost of a good time. So I just wanted, because we're always talking on the show, I bring this up more than I should, but I love Die Hard. I think Die Hard is, not getting that, I think Die Hard is an extremely good movie. But whenever the dude on the plane complains about jet lag going from, like, Los Angeles to New York, I'm like, or vice versa? No, Los Angeles to New York, I think. It's been a little while. I'm like, come on, dude. You know, it's basically ripping off the Louis C.K. bit 100%, but it's a journey that used to kill people. Not a good bomb, obviously. Now, your time zones are just, like, slightly different. Not even, like, massively different, just slightly different. And you're gonna complain about it. I will say, look, it's my first run back. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Well, it's my second run back. I don't want to talk about my first run back. But I will say, to completely invalidate everything I just said, the time that Kate and I went to England was the worst jet lag I've ever had in my whole life. I don't know how you Englanders, there's gotta be a better word for that. I'm just joking. It's, of course, the English. I don't know how the English do it, man. You guys should be jet lagged all the time just from living in that time zone. That is objectively the worst time zone. I'm clearly being deliberately facetious here. But we never adjust. We were there for like 9 or 10 days. And even on the final day, I was like, it's 1 p.m. Time for bed. And it's not just because my sleep schedule's, you know, a little abnormal, which makes it actually positively traditional by YouTuber and Twitch standards. When I'm at home, it was just like, it's like the perfect amount of time discrepancy from Pacific time to just be totally fucked. So basically, I'm putting you on blast, England. Everybody should just get on Pacific time, even though that makes no sense given, you know, the curvature of the Earth. You get the idea. Long story short, keep people honest, you know. And by keep people honest, I mean if somebody's complaining to you, they probably have a good reason to complain in their own head, you know. But you gotta feel like, oh, Lusty Blood is so good. We got a culture that complains too much about things that are not important. And then things that are important, we just go, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. You know? I don't want to start this debate, but, you know, ask the average person, you know, how you feeling today? Oh, I'm a little tired. I got 5 hours of sleep last night. I'm used to getting 6.5. Okay, well, you know, that's a problem that'll probably solve itself in like 10 hours, so I'm not sweating it too much. How do you feel about, you know, the Great Barrier Reef being classified as completely unrecoverable? You know, I don't really want to get into it. It's not so... I mean, yeah, it's like a shame, but has Coral ever done anything for us? You know, we're all invested, I guess, in our own issues. And that's fair. I mean, Lord knows, like, a lot of my brand is complaining about very minor things and pretending as if they have a major impact on my life. And so I don't want to, you know, bite the hand that feeds here. I'm just saying. I try not to and this is gonna sound funny given the NLSS commentary, but when I'm talking to like people who aren't already fans of me, they don't like to complain. I think it's one of the, it's like I'm not a social wizard or anything like that, but if you're, you know, if you're on the young side and you're like, how do I talk to people and like, you know, get them to like me? Well, first off, I think it's an expression thing, and it's a coherence thing. First off, be a person that people like. How do you do that? Just be a good person. Is step one. And then step two is don't complain. That's the only 2 steps he needs. Step 1 is like do good things, be a good person, you know, don't argue with people over meaningless shit. That's a good first step, you know. Somebody goes like, oh, you know, I saw The Dark Knight Rises last night. I thought it was really good. It's my favorite of the Chris Nolan Batman films. We're not on the internet. Don't immediately, you should respond with, oh, cool. You know, it's not my favorite of the films. Like, that's, your opinion, though, and I thought it's got some great moments we can bond over. I feel like a lot of people, they react to that and they go, lol, are you kidding me? The Dark Knight is so much better than The Dark Knight Rises, which it is. But still, you don't need to tell them that. Yeah, that's step 1, is not arguing over Chris Nolan films in person, in private, but please join America's favorite pastime. And then secondly is, like, don't complain, because people, like, pretend to, like, care about other people's minor problems. If you got like a major problem, if you're like, hey, you know, police are investigating me because I embezzled, you know, $800,000 from the company I work for. I want to hear more about that. Tell me more about your life, because that's interesting. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that's an interesting story. That's one you don't hear every day. That's not on the level of I'm tired. We gotta, you know, just don't complain to people, because people, they don't care about your minor problems, because everybody's got minor problems. Run the risk of turning it into like a pissing contest, you know? Oh, how you doing, Jennifer? Oh, I'm a little tired. How about you? You're tired? How much sleep did you get last night? Let me see your biorhythm from your Apple Watch. Look at that, you got 13 minutes more REM sleep than me, and you're tired? It's everything wrong with today's generation. Our millennials getting too much REM sleep, you know? Oh, the fear has kept them away, and then I've squandered it, but still, you get the idea. Not that people, you know, uniformly enjoy my company. There's a lot of people who don't. You get a vibe for it pretty quickly when you... Sometimes in real life, I'll, like, bring up, like, an NLSS story, and I feel like part of the NLSS, you know, like, for example, a grocery store bit, is buying into the idea that, like, this guy is playing up the idea of being very offended by extremely minor social slights. And the payoff there is you crack open that coconut and you get the delicious coconut milk of, you know, the absurdity of social rules. Why is it okay to do this and not this? Is that our second guppy item? That's our second guppy item. Well, I'll tell you what, I will go to the curse room then. That's for darn sure. But sometimes I'll do that in real life, you know. I'll be like... Well, let me take this pill first. I'll be like, yo, I was at the grocery store yesterday. The cashier was bagging things so slowly. It's like, Kate really likes this breakfast drink. I just want to see what's in here. My brain can't do, like... lateral thinking right now because the jet lag is so bad. No, there we go. So we'll buy like 5 or 6 bottles of this breakfast drink at a time. And usually, you know, if you get someone who's been working at the grocery store a long time, you know, they got grocery tenure. They pick up one of the things, they scan it, and then they type like, you know, ×6 into the cash register, and that's fine. But we went yesterday, and we the cashier, like, picked up one, scanned it, picked up the other, scanned it, picked up the other, scanned it, picked up the fourth, scanned it. You can get the general gist of it from there. And we were just kind of like, man, this is crazy. Like, it's such a small waste of time, but still one that seems so unnecessary. And yet, at the same time, if we brought it up, it would create a situation that's so much more time-consuming than what we're actually dealing with in the present moment. So we're going to trinket smelt. Actually, we should just roll with Trinket Smelter long-term here, obviously. So that's, not only is that a real story that happened to us literally yesterday, but it's the kind of story that I'd bring up on the show. Sometimes I'll bring up a story like that to normal people, and you can tell, like, right away, I will definitely get that. You can tell right away, they're like, this guy's an asshole. And that's so fair, which is the part that I want to get out here, is that if I hadn't already bought into the initial concept of this person being an asshole as a joke, I would just be like, this guy's a dick. But of course, you know, at the grocery store, we didn't Larry David it up. We just paid and went on with our merry way. And I hope that woman has a fantastic life. Wouldn't mind if she thought about her processes a little bit more. Got a business analyst in there to tell her how to be a little bit more efficient. I mean, that's some critical path stuff there. But, you know, at the same time, it's a very minor inconvenience. Even that is part of the joke. But you gotta read the room, I suppose. You gotta read the room. Anyway, we're heading down here. This run is in a very good situation, as you might expect. It's also, I think, you gotta just also accept that, like, everybody's sort of an asshole. And if you don't agree with what I say here, you're the biggest asshole of all. Because you're trying to deny that human beings have these assholeless tendencies within us. I actually, and this is not even like, in fact, I think we're almost in an, I realize I'm going off on a lot of tangents, like nested tangents here, but hear me out. I feel like we're in a weird era, culturally speaking, where it's shameful to be nice, in a way. Not for everybody, for certain, but we have, people are ashamed of being nice. You'll be like, oh, you're like a nice guy, and you'd be like, fuck you! I'm not a nice guy, I'm a man, right? And I understand where that's coming from, because there's, you know, this nice guy culture. A nice guy is almost a pejorative now that means somebody who's, like, trying to be your friend just so they can fuck you later. Or somebody who's, like, you know, they're being your friend because they've, I don't know, got low testosterone or something, you know? I'm around on the internet. I get a general feel for the barometer of things. Like, it's actually, like, totally cool to be, like, a nice person. I'm not ashamed to be a nice person. I'm a successful person in at least some ways. I'm also married. You know, I'm doing all right for myself. Don't let people trick you into thinking it's bad to be nice. It is kind of shitty to be nice if you're only being nice because you have ulterior motives. But, like, in actuality, like, I treat people with respect on a daily basis, and I'm actually proud of it, you know? Like, I try to improve the way I treat people. Sometimes I yell at Nick on the show, and then later I feel bad about it. And I shouldn't have done that. Even though I'm playing it up for a joke, I can understand that probably, you know, made him feel not amazing, and it's something I should work on in the future. I think there's a way to tell jokes without necessarily making people the butt of the joke. It's something I think about all the time, because I have low testosterone. But I'm an actual, like, nice person. But deep inside of my head, there lives an asshole, and then there's a facade of niceness that goes over top of that, which is now good, and that's fine, because deep inside of all of us, you know, there's a beast that just wants to fuck and kill, and, you know, I wonder what would happen if I, you know, push that child onto the subway tracks. You know, there's a reason that phenomenon, like, I think it's called intrusive thoughts, you know, it has, like, a name. And when Rob brought it up on the show once, I pretended I didn't know what it was so that it made him look like a crazy person, which again maybe makes me an asshole. But anyway, you get the idea. So, I mean, the NLSS persona of Northernlion is like that asshole plus Larry David, I think, come to life. But in real life, I treat people nicely, and I think you should as well. I don't know why. I feel like we've kind of come to the point recently where we, like, fetishized meanness as being honest. Not everybody's going to agree with me on this, and that's fine, but I find it, like, disingenuous because, you know, the easiest way to appear, let me rephrase this. I think the easiest way to appear knowledgeable is to be cynical. Because people conflate being jaded and cynical with being intelligent or wise, and I don't think that's the case. Always, at least. I 100% should have used the Joker there. That's my bad. But I was on a soapbox, so hear me out. Oh, we can still make it out of here. I'm excited. Are you kidding me? Number 5. I'm just here. I'm trying to, you know, I know I'm, Bloody Crown is extremely good. I know I'm the weird internet dude to some extent. I'm like the internet dad despite being 28. And I'm like, hey, homework, you should, hey, homework, you should really do your slugger, is actually what I was going to say there. Hey, slugger, you should really do your homework. Shut up, dad. I'm making memes. Yeah, but, you know, with the upcoming influx of automation, oh, Jesus, they're fast. You know, it's gonna be increasingly hard for you to find a job in the modern economy, so you should be, shut up, Dad! I'm shitposting! Oh, I wish you wouldn't call me Dad? I don't know where I'm going. Anyway, you get the idea. But really, like, I want to be, like, the anti-that influence. I want to encourage you to be nice. Don't be like someone who's pushed over, but you should treat people nicely. We have this weird, or a lot of people have this weird thing, like, they think if you're an asshole in public, it makes you important, but that's like so the opposite. It actually just makes you an adult baby. If you're 14 and you're throwing a tantrum in public, everyone's going, it's a really shitty kid. But they're not going, that person is shitty. Sadly, the parents are being judged and, you know, maybe they're doing everything they can, but you get the idea. If you're like, I've seen like 55-year-old men in suits throw tantrums in like an airport because they tried to bring like 6 suitcases on, and the airport's like, I can't really take 6 suitcases on this airplane because there's not gonna be enough space for everybody else. I've literally seen people who must be making at least like 6 figures throwing tantrums at the airport for reasons along those lines. And sometimes, you know, something, must have been flying United, but you get the idea, right? Nobody looks at that guy and goes, oh, he must be an important person. Everybody looks at that guy and goes, what went wrong, man? I guess we'll take broken motor. Oh, we have restock. That's right. That's like a trinket smelter, the pill. So I don't really care about that too. Oh, good, the poop. I think oh, you know what? No. We should definitely take Mom's box. And then we use it. And then we get counterfeit penny. And then we smelt it, and then we go grab this, and we go hoop, and we do that, and we get faded Polaroid, and then we smelt it. And then we should still be able to do boss rush. We go get this, and we go, oh, AAA battery. We come back, you know what we're gonna do with that momentarily. We're gonna smelt it. Okay, let's get the fuck out of here. That was pretty sweet, though. I don't want to blow up the donation machine, even though it means we could effectively get, like, you know, unlimited trinkets. That actually is cool. We already got, like, 8, though, for 1. And then for 2, I don't want to fuck up our donation machine that much. Haven't been extremely kind to it recently. What do you do? Just get the fuck out of here. Yeah, man, I mean, it's the lamest thing. I wish I was a cool guy. And I actually, and you know this already, I think that I am cool. I'm cool in, like, my own weird, pseudo-responsible way, where I'm like, you know, hey, sorry I can't play video games, I gotta go to night class as a 30-year-old, you know? I'm not quite 30, but let's put it that way. I'm old enough to be like, I'm basically 30. Why keep putting on airs at this point? You get the idea, right? But I wish I was cool. I wish I liked skydiving and motorcycles and stuff, because it's really easy to to be cool if you're already cool. I know this sounds like it's circular reasoning or something, but if you genuinely like motorcycles, let's say. I don't know why motorcycles are my hill to die on here. I'm not anti-motorcycle by any means. And then he came up with a justification for it. But you don't understand. If you're a cool guy, you don't understand what it's like to not be a cool guy. Because you have to pretend to be cool. There's definitely times, like in my teenage years, like, what do I actually want to do? I'd like to read, you know, Fifth Business or something. It's a very famous Canadian pseudo sci-fi novel. So, I mean, you can clearly see the kind of person I was as a child just from that explanation right there. What am I actually gonna do? I don't know. Let's go. Yeah, I'd love to vandalize that small business. Let's do it. You want to spray paint fuck on the side of this building? Sure, let's go. Like, I actually never did that. That's hypothetical, but the spirit of it remains. I'm sure a lot of you watching this can relate to me. If you're not cool, everybody thinks, every cool person thinks that, like, there's another cool person inside of everybody else just waiting to come out. They go, hey, come on, live a little. Jump off the bridge into the quarry. You'll be fine. Only like 2 kids die every year because of doing this. What are the odds, right? They think that deep inside of you, your cool friend is like, there's a cool guy inside of this guy. I'm just more enlightened because I figured it out. There is no cool guy inside of me. I've tried enough cool things to know. You know, the perfect example of this is Kate and I were at Tokyo Disney Sea when we were in, oh, that's gonna hit. Oh, he got out. We were at Tokyo Disney Sea, which is basically like, you know, Disneyland. I don't know if it's Disneyland or Disney World. I don't know the Disney differences, all right? Anyway, it's a theme park. There's some rides there that are like borderline scary, but certainly it's not like, by the way, a lot of cool guys right now heard me say that rides at Disneyland are scary, and they're going, yeah, well, it's no Cedar Point. See, again, you're just playing into my hand. You actually just got Peter Baelished right there, and you don't even know it yet, you fucking... Anyway, let's get going here. I rode the Tower of Terror, and this is true for like every ride that I go on. Every roller coaster I've ever been on in my entire life. I get on, and I'm scared, I'm anxious. Scared is not the right word. There's an involuntary anxiety reaction that I have. By the way, we're gonna win this run, in case that's not obvious, for the last like 20 minutes. And I don't have fun. Everybody else is going like, ooh, it's gonna be scary. You know, I know you're not scared because you're talking to each other going, ooh, it's gonna be scary. I'm already in the seat like, well, this is gonna be unpleasant. I don't want to talk to anybody. These could be the, I don't even, like, logically, I don't think that I'm gonna die. But emotionally, I'm like, I'm just not gonna have fun doing this. And then the ride, you know, we went on the Tower of Terror. It's an elevator, it goes up, it simulates an elevator crash. Ooh, fun. And then, well, that's what I want to do with my time, is pay $60 to get into a freaking theme park that simulates dying in a horrific accident. Anyway, again, if you're cool guys and gals, you don't understand the problem there. But it drops you, and it takes a photo, and it brings you back up, and it drops you again. So we had like the ride photo for every roller coaster I've ever been on is me surrounded by people having the time of their lives. Literally throwing up peace signs, going like, woo! And then there's me with 1,000-yard stare, like I just pressed the button that dropped a bomb on like a family or a hospital or something accidentally. Like some actual jarhead shit where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna remember this for a long time. Like, I am having no fun. The most fun I ever have on a roller coaster, because I'm self-aware, is when I go back and I look at the photo of me on the roller coaster having the worst time in my entire life. And it's not like I don't actually not enjoy going to a theme park. It's not like you know, I'm in a cold sweat the night before, like, oh, I'm gonna go to a theme park. Like, I'll get on rides, usually. But when I'm on the ride, I'm actually like, the line is my favorite part. I feel like most people, the favorite part is like after the first drop, when you have, you know, you've gone through that terror and you're on the other side and now you're exhilarated. No, I mean, I catch the faintest whiff of that feeling on occasion, but for the most part, I'm like chatting it up in the line, having a good time. Oh, wow, I can tell some jokes that are reasonably funny. Then I get on there and I'm like, it's time to work. Body, this is your brain saying you're gonna be fine. It's just a simulated death. I understand that evolutionarily you would never experience something like this unless you were literally about to die. So I can understand why you would be concerned, but this is your brain speaking and like you're gonna be okay. So like, I have spent so much time as a youth pretending to be cool. And I'm here to tell you, don't do it, man. It's not like I have any great regrets about it, you know. Oh, I had fun a couple of times. It was the worst thing ever. You know, I understand the jokes at my expense here. But I'm just saying, if you aren't cool, you can still be cool. the way you gotta do it, though, is embracing your uncoolness. If you, like, you know, you're in chemistry class, and you're like, for some reason, I really like stoichiometry. Don't depress that feeling. That's your coolness. You just gotta find your own coolness. You can make anything cool just by being passionate about it. The thing that's super uncool is when you're, you know, imagine Elon Musk is in university, you know? So, wow, I'd really like to build a reusable rocket one day. Hey, this is stupid. Want to go jump off the bridge into the quarry? If he had been like, yes, yeah, you're right, it is stupid. That's not cool. That's crossing the line into uncoolness. Being ashamed of what, you know, your true calling is. That's uncool. And I hate that I need to clarify this, but it is the internet. Unless your true calling is like being a serial killer, in which case, depress that true calling and be uncool. But either way, if you actually like riding motorcycles, going on roller coasters, you know, skydiving. Everybody, I hate it. And why don't you go skydiving just once? It'll change your life. It's exhilarating. No, I don't like the feeling of being dropped. I've been dropped on roller coasters. I've been up real high in buildings. And some of the tallest buildings in the world. I don't like the heights, and then combine that with the free fall. It's just too much. And people always say face your fears. It's not, skydiving once is not facing your fears. That's facing your fears once. In like, 6 months, you're still gonna be scared of heights. You gotta skydive like once a day for a year. Something like that to get over it. Anyway. If you actually like that stuff and you do it, that's cool. But the most uncool thing in the world would have been me pretending to be cool. And I hope if you're in the same boat that I was, you heed this advice. Because, imagine spending your life riding motorcycles because other people will think that it's cool and you don't actually enjoy it at all. There's a lot of people living their lives, man. Trying to look cool to other people but not actually having a good time. That's the lamest thing in the world. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. If you like sitting in a, a cozy armchair up at the fire, reading Fifth Business, by all means. You're a fan of Fifth Business? Who wrote it? Robertson Davies. He won the Gemini Award, okay? Know thyself, to thine own self be true. Ball of tar, little chubby, trinket smelter. I don't think that I have actually talked about anything related to Isaac for like 4 floors here. But we got Brimstone Mom's Knife, great damage. Like, we're crushing it. And I think we hit a good point with commentary there. I tried to structure it in such a way that there were funny moments as well as moments of poignancy. As always, I would suggest that I'm 28 years old. It's a dangerous age to be because you think you're wise, but actually you're like still a baby probably. So, keep that in mind. This rhyme I did design to explain in due time, all I know. But yeah, dude, embrace your passions. Everybody always gives life advice, and they're always like, you only get one chance to live your life. I'm not going to be that hyperbolic, even though I was. That was just to get the Eminem reference across. You know what? Give me something here. But, like, you're going to have a better time if you do things you have a better time with. You should still get out of your comfort zone from time to time, in my opinion, to experience new things. But, I've been to, probably 12 amusement parks. I've ridden enough roller coasters to know I'm just putting on airs. Ooh, bang, bang, Jacob's silver ladder comes down on his head. Doot, 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 doot. We're already guppy. We're kind of we don't really need too much more here, but if you would like to give me some, I will take it. Infestation 2, I disregard what I previously said. I disavow it. I need everything. I know we're down to 4 keys. Our luck's not very high. I know it's wait what. Why 4 keys? I think conceivably I could get 4 golden chests on the rest of the floor with 2 luck. Probably we'll get 0, but I think there's a world in which we get not 0. Euthanasia puts us 1 away from spun, I think, but my mental inventory is honestly pretty bad right now. I have almost no concept of what items we have, apart from the obvious. It's going to take a little while to get the Isaac Fu back, I think, here. But commentary seems like it's doing all right. So, you know, of the two muscles that are most important, what happened to my... Oh, wait. I mean, we don't really need Trinket Smelter, but I do love it. If something shows up, I want to be able to smelt it. Even though it's got a full charger. Oh, we could sure walk up and use wait what for no reason, I suppose, but... We got Mom's Knife Brimstone. We're going to be fine either way. Even though I just took a bunch of damage being an idiot. And I actually, like, chose to walk into that guy. The reasoning being, makes it easier to get spun there. We didn't get the virus, unfortunately, but that's still completely fine. Anyway, I've been on a soapbox. The whole point of this conversation was just you be you, dude. But if you're in college, like, man, I don't know, pretend to be cool for like a couple of years. See if that's your jam. If it is, then by all means, go for it. Maybe you're just a cool person. You didn't realize you haven't had the chance to be cool yet. But I feel like if there's like one extreme positive to like geek and nerd culture going mainstream, it's you can be cool doing different things now. Let me be honest with you. What's cool at 30 is way different than what's cool at, you know, 16. What's cool at 16? I don't know. It's been a while. Nerd culture was kind of there when I was 16. You were like really cool if you liked Harry Potter. So it's not like I grew up in an era where an era where you got your underwear pulled over your head for knowing who Dumbledore was. But anyway, you get the idea. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.